morning, everyone. Nothing like being far from home and having tea that tastes nothing like home. Having coffee that tastes kind of like whatever bathwater tastes like, probably. Without further ado, we're going to jump into today's video. So creation, being very savage, very merciless. You've probably heard a lot of talk about this before. You know, rings to mind, oh, creation is savage, whoa. Nature, that's the one. Nature is heartless, just does what it does. It, it eats its own family members. It'll gets caught fire by lightning and burns out entire forests of little creatures that look cute and fuzzy. And people too. Not cute or fuzzy, hopefully. Well, alright. So when you examine this, we're reminded of the story in Genesis about the creation, and we read that sin, having come into the world, twisted creation, makes it a bastardization of its proper self, for lack of a better word. Anyhow, this is what Satan does. He twists things. He twists the truth. He twists the plan of God for mankind. All right. Now, creation, being as savage as it is, was made so through sin coming into the world. And I was reading Romans last night and this morning. Excuse me. And I'm reading in Romans 4 about how it's the spiritual posterity, God's chosen people being fulfilled in Jesus Christ as His true people, His chosen people, and creation coming in three parts. If you remember this from your Bible reading, is about 2,000 years of lawlessness before the flood, about 2,000 years of the law, well, depending on how you look at that. Post-flood, the law came, and we had the law, and then from Jesus, it's been about 2,000 years since Jesus, where we've had forgiveness from the law, essentially. That's how that works. So it's a three-part grouping, and I should probably do a whole video on that. But if you've never thought about that before, we are living in a three-part series right now, which is cool. I'm very thankful we're living in the third part. I don't know what I would do without forgiveness. I would probably feel very terrible. I still do. So it's just a matter of things. Now, the twisting of creation is a part of God's plan. Okay, now the reality behind creation itself is that it was made to be perfect, just like people were made to be perfect in God's plan. And sin coming into the world was a result of an action of mankind. It's a result of actions of mankind that we have suffering, that we have these sinful bodies. This is where we're going to go with this. So now our sinful bodies are a part of creation. A part of creation. And the way that we are naturally inclined to sin is because of our sinful bodies, our sinful nature that comes from our sinfully inclined bodies. And if you read Romans 5, I believe it's Romans 5, about the action of sin brought death into the world, and the action of Jesus Christ being crucified and being raised again brings a life-giving force. So sin bringing death for all mankind, and then Jesus bringing life for all mankind. And it does say that we have the effects of sin. I think it's Romans 5, 3 or 4. Romans 5 verses 3 or 4, somewhere in there. that even those who have not sinned in the way that Adam sinned will still be partakers of death. Obviously, everyone's going to die. But we're focusing on the results of sin here. So when you sin, you bring death to yourself. And this only aggravates the more you sin. The more you sin, the more death you bring to yourself, the more your sinful body becomes more and more corrupted, and it will even corrupt your spirit and your soul. So don't think for a moment that, oh, it's just physical, it's not going to affect who I am. Well, it is. You are three parts, just the way that God is three parts. And your body is a part of who you are. Now, He will replace this sinful body of ours. He promises to do that for us, and we will not have that natural inclination to sin anymore. But that's not going to happen in this life, so don't get your hopes up. You're going to have to deal with this sinful body your entire life. Now, nature is twisted. Nature is savage. Nature is unforgiving. It's merciless. It just is. It just does what it's supposed to do. It just works. And our bodies are a part of that nature. So when you eat, it feeds you. And when you drink, it sates your thirst. There are actions that you perform in life that will just be. It works because it has to work. In the words of the modern church father C.S. Lewis. So when this body is trying to pull you towards sin, you need to fight that sinful nature, and we can only do that through the strength and power of God. Otherwise, we would just be like animals. And you see people in the world, they are just like animals. Unfortunately, there's very little difference because their spirit and their soul have been corrupted along with their bodies. And this is how we see these horrible things that people do to other people, absolutely beyond imagining what they do to each other. And it's disturbing. It's terribly disturbing because we are meant to love one another and to have mercy. And even our enemies, we are meant to love our enemies despite them being our enemies, okay? So that's for another video, but we are meant to be contrary to the nature of sin. And sin has brought a nature into this world which is contrary to God's plan of mankind. And what is the will of God? Your sanctification of heart and life. We are meant to be purified to holiness, and that is not what our bodies intend for us. So through self-discipline and through self-sacrifice, living in self-sacrifice, we gain a more firm control over our physical bodies toward the ultimate goal that we will be rewarded not only with a new body that is not naturally inclined to sin, but that creation itself, Romans 8:19, thereabouts, creation itself is get the phone call. Creation itself is yearning for the return to righteousness of God's creation. Okay, now this is also in Romans. Now we are meant to fight our physical nature, which is inclined to sin, because sin twisted it at the start. And we are brought to God by God against our sinful natures. And He promises to complete in us the work that He has started. So don't despair if you are struggling against your body's sinful nature, but don't give up either. You need to be diligent, absolutely diligent in your work to be perfected. You have to be willing to be perfected. You have to accept these difficult things that are going to be given to you, and not to balk at the will of God as you learn more and more about it. That's all for this video. Until the next time.